or whatever. Anyway, the pause is over, so let's start this one again. All right, welcome to game number 3. This is MBL versus the Viper. A set of 3 random games played here, and it's, what is it, May 16th, I believe? Yeah, 2016. We see the Viper kind of coming out of a long slumber of inactivity. He's going to be playing MBL, who's been very active and is playing at a high level. This is game 3 of a set, so if you want to check out games 1 and 2, feel free. I'll probably accidentally make a spoiler here at some point if you're watching it as a video, so be ready for that. But anyway, game number 3 here will be a Mongols game. MBL will be in red. Viper will be back in yellow. Viper's lucky color, yellow. So, Mongols v. Mongols here. Interestingly, maybe it's worthwhile to see who has a deer patch. Does anybody have a close-by deer patch? MBL's is off to the side. Mongols do have that food gathering bonus, so maybe we'll see players find a nice deer patch to build their mill next to. Yeah, Vipers is kind of occluded. Is that the right word? It's kind of blocked off there, so that's not ideal at all for him. But he will have, you know, the normal couple boars, couple sheep, and berries on the front. So Viper's not going to be able to take advantage of that food bonus, at least not that I can see. MBL, though, oh, look at him. He's going to actually be able to push deer straight toward his TC from this deer patch. So maybe advantage MBL early on here, at least for food. Let's look at the rest of the maps. MBL is going to have the stone on the back. Main gold to the side in an area that can't be really closed in or defended well at all. It's going to be tricky to take that gold. Berries on the front should be fine. Ooh, secondary gold way in the back. So MBL, oh wow, this seems like a recording. I feel like I've seen this game before. MBL can probably, this is live though, MBL can probably block in this back door and take this gold, but he would be within range of archers or towers if he does so. Maybe it'd be smarter to go wall here and wall here. I don't know. I'm going to leave it to the pros, but MBL does have a nice little safe gold. One safe gold pile is all you can ask for in this game. This is, again, a Arabia game. We are playing Mongols v. Mongols. Viper will be in yellow. Viper is going to have what? He's going to have his gold on the front, his main stone on the side. Has a decent wood line up there, but a little bit far from his TC. MBL's wood line, if we do actually look back, he doesn't have great wood. He's got one good wood line, that's it. MBL has great wood in person, but not in this game. That's what I've heard. A friend told me. Anyway, boar being lured in here by the Viper, and it's dropped right under the TC, just as you would expect. 4 on wood for the Viper. Maybe some early aggression from him. We'll have a secondary gold pile on the back. Where is the rest of his resource? He will have... Where's your stone at? Where's your secondary stone at, Mr. Viper? I don't know. I don't even know. Can't even find it. It's getting late over here, so no big deal. Whatever, we'll find it later in the game. Anyway, Viper is could potentially wall in some of his area if he wants, but he hasn't really been walling in this set of games very much. Neither really has MBL. MBL seems to be playing relatively open. Excuse me. 4 villagers on wood for MBL, 4 villagers on wood for Viper. MBL going to drop an early farm there. Actually, it seems like a very early farm. Interesting. Anyway, he'll be dropping a farm there with one of the low HP vills that lured in the boar. I suppose that's pretty meta. Viper on the other side is not going to do that quite yet. He's going to send vills out to grab food with that nice Mongol gathering bonus. Ooh, that deer got shot and ran toward the next arrow. Fortunate for Viper. Both players grabbing loom and should be able to click up soon. That nice food boost from the Mongols allows you to maybe click up a little bit faster. And maybe, just maybe, if one of these players has some safe gold, they can go fast up to Feudal and get some fast archers. We'll see. We'll see. Why speculate? It's going to happen. If we look at the scouting, MBL is working his way in on Viper's side. Did find the TC, but did not lose any HP on his scout. On the other side, the Viper is working his way. He's really worked his way all the way around the horn on MBL. So he knows exactly what MBL has in store for him this game. Pretty much identical click-up time for the 2 players, which is very nice to see 2 players at that level where there's just no time wasted whatsoever. Viper built a mill out here on these 3 deer, which I suppose is a good investment, but we'll see. We'll see. I think he's going to be fine. He'll be able to chew those deer up in no time. Barracks coming on the front for MBL. I'm sorry, for Viper. Barracks coming on the front for MBL as well. Both players will hit the Feudal Age at exactly the same time, both with a barracks up. The question is, what will they do? A little scout fighting on the front. 1 hit in there from the Viper. Ooh, sniped him. Sniped MBL's scout with a free hit. Villagers grabbing food, and we wait. Feudal age has been achieved by both players. Viper immediately with 2 vills on a stable. MBL immediately with 2 vills on a stable as well. So we'll see some scouts here. Cool. Cool. Both players just happily booming up. MBL has not closed in the backside. Viper has not closed anything in either. He would do really well, though, to, I mean, at least close in here and here. I think that would be really nice. Even here as well. Oh. Anyway, Killer Bee's obsessed with walling. We'll watch how the pros play it. They know better than I do. Both players on 21 vills. Viper coming forward immediately with a spear. Nothing too surprising there. Has a few more scouts queued. Nothing surprising there either. MBL will do probably, potentially the same. MBL is going to send his spear forward. He was housed there just for a second. No, he's housed here for more than a second. That is unfortunate. That will slow MBL's army build just a little, but he will have another spear and more scouts coming here relatively soon. He's going to try to block in his side, but Viper's going to be there before MBL can close it. Viper is going to run straight in and maybe take on this Vill, who was trying to quick wall but didn't get the job done. She's going to take a few hits, but she'll be all right. Villagers in the fray taking on Viper's 1 spear and 2 scouts. 3 scouts now for the Viper and a spear. 2 scouts and a spear for MBL. MBL bringing more spears into the fray. I suppose he was a few moments behind since he was housed there, and now he's just trying to defend what could have been a lot of scouts from the Viper, but only ended up really being 3. MBL is going to push this back and head forward. Viper, what's the Viper up to? He's got 2 more scouts waiting on the hill, maybe keeping those hidden for a moment. Going to try to come in and snipe this spear. A little bit risky. No, he's not going to try to snipe it. MBL's actually going to get a free poke in, though. A pinch and a poke, another poke. How about that? So MBL getting a few hits in with the spear. Viper with the scout numbers at the moment. Military numbers are pretty much a dead heat. MBL hurting those scouts with his 2 spears here. Going to push them all the way around the horn. Viper is going to try to defend this, and he will, at least for the moment. He will hang on and defend his side. Has another spear waiting in the back. He's abandoned that mill since he's now chewed up the deer. And what's going on? A couple of free pokes in there from the Viper's spear. Viper's going to take on these spears for a moment, which is interesting. He's going to lose a scout and probably a second. No, he's going to just lose 1, but he's going to lose some HP on some others. But in the end, he will push that back, and MBL will just have 3 scouts and another spear or 2 coming forward. So yeah, pretty much normal feudal age on Arabia. Seeing some scouts, seeing some spear fighting, seeing some wolves in on the action. Nothing too crazy thus far. Villager counts are actually 3 in favor of the Viper, which is a bit surprising. Maybe we saw an early wheelbarrow there or something that I didn't notice. Viper's transitioning over to gold. MBL on the other side is doing so as well. He's going to take that gold on the front instead of the gold on the back, which is interesting. MBL will eventually close this whole side in, I think, with a makeshift wall, but until we get there, we will wait and see. Fighting on the front, looks like MBL trying to snipe this spear with his scouts, but big spear fight. Big spear fight going on. At the moment, no upgrades on either player's scouts or spears, I would assume. Yeah, so we have pretty much a raw battle here. We have a unupgraded army versus an unupgraded army. We have spears v spears here on the front. MBL is, yeah, he's pushing in a little bit on the Viper, trying to do some damage, running his scouts around the horn. Oh, and he's gonna find a free Viper villager over here, I think. Is he gonna get him? Yep, gets a Vill and gets out of there. So nice play from MBL. Very creative, running his scouts around, using his spears as a distraction, I suppose, as you should. And in the end, he gets a Vill. He loses a couple HP on a scout, but it's all good in the hood. Viper up by 1 Vill at the moment, but he is now grabbing wheelbarrow, so he will be behind by the time he gets that in. MBL taking this fight on the front versus the Viper. It is 3v2, but now it is 2v2, and both players are uninterested in that fight in the long run. So pretty much a stalemate on the front, except for MBL grabbing and sniping 1 Vill. And, oh, Smarthy's back. Welcome back, Smarthy. Yeah, guys, if you're watching this as a video, feel free to join us live. We do about 8 p.m. Eastern. That's about midnight GMT, a couple nights a week. Usually like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or Thursday. Those are really the only options that I usually do regularly. But anyway, continuing to work our way through. Second stable coming in for MBL. On the other side, we will see double archery range from the Viper. So that will be nice. We're going to see at least some armies that are not identical fighting each other. Spears still fighting spears on the side. It seems like Viper's going to do just fine to push this back. Thank you, Sombrabras. Okay, I tried. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Scouts for MBL working their way back across the map. Oh, they're going to run right into Viper's spears and take one free shot, which is not ideal at all, but it's all good, I suppose. MBL will be up to castle first by about 35 seconds or so. He will have a 1 villager advantage on the Viper, and military will be about equal. So all things considered, I think MBL's in just a fine spot. Looks like his ability to snipe that 1 vil from the Viper is something that he's held on to. He still has that 1 villager advantage. As far as Castle Age goes, we have 2 players who have built up some buildings that in anticipation of Castle Age upgrades. MBL's grabbing Bloodlines right now. He looks like he's going to go with Knights since he has the double stable. The question is that can he keep his gold safe enough to continue to build there? Viper appears to be going double archery range, probably some cav arch. Oh, I'm sorry, we're doing Mongols. Okay, yep, those units are still in play. I'm sorry, but I was thinking Huns War for some reason. Seen so many Arabia Huns Wars. Yeah, so we'll see how this one works out. Both players with a safe gold pile, both players with safe wood lines. So for the moment, players can do whatever they want, and we will see double stable Knights from MBL and a TC. So 2x2 Knights coming out for MBL. Spoiler alert, Viper was able to do a lot of good work with Knights in the past couple games, so we'll see if MBL can do something good this time. Thumb Ring coming for the Viper. He will have quite a few archers there as far as upgrades go, +1 damage, and he will soon have Thumb Ring and Crossbowmen as well. MBL's running across the map with his Knights. The Viper has now seen it. So the Viper knows what MBL is up to. He probably knew already. He probably saw the +2 defense on those scouts. But anyway, +2 Knights with Bloodlines, so pretty beefy against arrows. So the Viper may have a little bit of trouble here. He's going to need to, he's going to need to be smarter than me. I would just lose. Yep, there he goes, being smarter than me again. He's going to pop a camel out right away, which will be a fantastic counter to the cavalry units of MBL. But he still needs to get the job done. Gonna drop a university right away instead of a TC. So the Viper will be on 1 town center building villagers. MBL will be on 2. So we'll see MBL continue to build a villager lead. He is now up by 5 vils. Viper at the moment is housed. He does seem to actually be in a bit of trouble. We can hear fighting on the front. Looks like crossbows v Knights there, and Viper may get the job done here. MBL is going to have to run off of there. But MBL very happily using those Knights maybe as a distraction because his scouts are in on the back, and they snipe another vil and a camel. Those scouts are going to get cleaned up. They're on low HP, but MBL doing a great job to get maximum bang for his buck with those. Twice he used a small army to distract the Viper and ran in those scouts, and he got a villager both times. Once in the Feudal Age, once in the Castle Age. MBL will surround Viper's crossbows here and clean them up by the looks of it. Viper's going to push himself into that corner and maximize the amount of damage he can get in before he gets cleaned. And MBL's actually seems to maybe have lost interest there for a moment. But he can certainly clean up these crossbows. Or can he? Seems to be a little bit indecisive, kind of running back and forth. He's going to run those Knights forward. He's going to say, forget it. Those crossbows are not worth it. MBL is now on 3 TCs, and he's getting really good mileage out of his units. Siege Workshop in defense, and he will be up against the Viper, who is on 1 TC. So Viper's going to have double archery ranges, 1 TC, but the build looks kind of strange to me. Camel's still coming out in defense, but the question is, I mean, he's going to have ballistics, which is nice. But the question is, what's the plan here? He doesn't seem to be building. He's still building crossbows. Just seems to be a little bit. MBL's going to swamp him out of this one if the Viper doesn't get something done here soon. Right now, MBL's up by 13 vils, and the Viper has a military of 18, but the military is all in defense. They are all defensive units, at least for the moment. Lots of spears and camels hanging out in the back. Even the crossbows here have not gone forward yet. So MBL getting a lot of mileage out of just a few units. He will have a siege workshop and a monastery in defense. And he'll be ready for the Viper's camels, I suppose, if the Viper continues to build them. But yeah, for the moment, MBL just happily booming up. He's going to be 20 villagers ahead of the Viper quite soon. And the Viper is still on 1 TC. Has a second TC coming down, but he's just so far behind. He's not going to be able to outboom his opponent. He's going to have to do some damage. Does have the military lead, can send some of those crossbows forward, maybe with a spear or 2, and try to get something done. MBL's TC location here is pretty good. He's got a safe woodline and safe gold. TC in the center, and TC up on this hill, not bad. Kind of in no man's land, but he does have a safe gold there. MBL really has one wood line at the moment. That's the only thing that's maybe a little bit tough if he gets raided. But other than that, I think he's in fantastic shape. The Viper on the other side, the Viper's got, yeah, he's got all of his eggs in one basket as well on this wood line. But now he has a TC up to guard it, which is nice. And his gold in the middle is at least mostly blocked off by this makeshift wall. There is a hole here in the center, but of course, knights coming in one by one against this many crossbows would be a suicide. Anyway, we hear monks in play. We see +2 knights with bloodlines there for the Viper, +2 defense. He will soon be working his way forward. I'm sorry, from MBL. He will soon be working his way forward and trying to get a little damage in on the Viper. MBL is pretty happily booming up here. 22 villagers ahead of the Viper. Has a smaller military, but maybe a higher quality military. Has those high defense knights, which are awfully beefy. At the moment, he's running straight toward the Viper's newest TC, but he's going to be met there by a half dozen spears, and he's going to take... no, he's not going to take any pokes. Yeah, he's going to take this fight. He's going to idle some vills, but he's going to take a decent amount of damage here from these spears. So spears are going to push Viper's, MBL's knights away here eventually, but at least it will deny the Viper's TC for a moment. Camels in play as well. Meanwhile, Viper sneaking around the horn, going to grab a Vill from MBL on his stone pile. Going to dodge for the moment the first mangonel shot, but he does get a little damage in with that army. Camels running in that really interesting, funny camel way, chasing these knights around the map. Looks like MBL is going to go and try to find a better place to use those knights. And for the moment, the Viper survives, again, down by a massive number of villagers, down by 26 vills. MBL is just keeping the Viper busy while he swamps him out of this game with villagers. Still 3 TCs, though, for MBL, and Viper now has 3, so the advantage isn't going to increase, but if he maintains a 20-plus villager advantage for the rest of the game, you'd have to think MBL is in a great position. You'd have to. I'm demanding that you do. MBL clicking to Imperial Age here. He will be up in a couple of minutes. Let's look at the Viper's resources. Does not have the food. Okay. Getting close. Getting close is the Viper, I suppose. For the moment, he is just happily hanging out with those archers. He has a pretty big military number advantage, but he hasn't really sent his military forward very much. MBL is going to kind of hang out on this hill and I would imagine be defensive, but he seems to be coming forward. Maybe a castle drop for MBL. Yeah, he will soon have enough stone. He'll drop a castle up on that hill, and he will defend his side. And this is a very nice, clean game from MBL here in game number 3. Viper's going to work his way around the horn. There is actually a bit of a chink in this armor that he can walk through, like straight through here if he wanted to, and maybe try to grab down these vills. We'll see if he gets there with these crossbows. +2, +1 on those. MBL's army is hanging out in defense. Now it's going forward. That castle is going to be finished, so the knights can head out and play. Still bloodlines and +2 defense. No offensive upgrades on those. Imperial Age coming for MBL. Handcart, fletching, and heavy plow. He is upgrading anything and everything. The Viper is working his way all the way around the horn. MBL with the university coming as well. So I suppose we're going to see some Mangadai here pretty soon, but until then, we will see the Viper working his way around the horn. Like we said, there was kind of a bit of an opening here. Maybe he'll work his way to it. For the moment, though, the action is on the other side. MBL has quite a few knights there. They are now going to be into the economy of the Viper. Viper trying to drop a quick monastery, which he'll get up. He's also shifting villagers around the map, but MBL has a pretty good raid going here. On the other side, Viper is he is coming in with those crossbows exactly to that stone pile. He must be listening to the stream, I think. Yeah, he's going to be able to idle that stone. Not going to grab any vills, but will idle that in quite a few farms, and maybe he can get MBL to pull this army back. Viper just now clicking to Imperial, so he is quite a bit behind his opponent. MBL is just happily booming up, taking quite a bit of stone, probably going to build several more castles. At the moment, he is dropping another castle that will take over this small gold pile as well. Has some Mangadai, I would assume, garrison at the moment inside this castle. Absolutely does. And he's going to start taking over this game.
Yeah.
Bry ATC, thanks for the follow. Yeah, so for the moment, it seems like MBL is going to swamp Viper out of here in game number 3. We're going to have to see some magic from the Viper if he's going to try to win. He's down by 23 vills at the moment, has no advantage. No, he has 10 more in military, but it is really all crossbows, which is fine, but it does not seem to be getting the job done on MBL at the moment, who is basically chasing him across the map with mangonels. He also will have his knights here to maybe hold this army in. So yeah, let's see how this engagement goes. MBL does have the Viper really crushed into an area, but he doesn't know exactly where the Viper is. So I think for the moment he's going to head forward and leave the Viper's army there. Those crossbows are so much slower than the cavalry that MBL can run all the way across the map and start raiding before these crossbows can get back in. So I think it's all good. I think it's a good investment on his part. We'll have a defensive castle as well, so he's going to have several castles on the map. Thank you, Black RZ, for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, so knights coming forward for MBL. The Viper is, he's now in Imperial Age. What is he up to back at home? Building castles of his own. He's quite a bit behind here, but he's still the Viper. He still has a fighting chance. MBL camping a mangonel out there. I like that. Just going to kind of hang out and wait for those crossbows to come out of the corner. MBL seems to be grabbing relics, as is... who grabbed that? Relic picked up. Oh, the Viper. Okay, never mind. I don't know. MBL, I think, is picking up relics now. He's also sending Mangudai forward. Those will be elite Mangudai now. So he is ready to rock and roll. The Viper on the other side. He's got arbs and defense, which will be nice. Not a mobile army, but doing the best he can. Will grab conscription and will continue to build up his army and his eco, but he's just so far behind. 30 villagers behind at this point for the Viper. Needs to get an incredible amount of damage in on MBL, who has a really impressive army. Those arbs on the front for the Viper are going to do a decent job, but they are eventually probably going to get cleaned up here. Thumb ring coming for MBL, Viper grabbing chemistry, and all of those arbs from the Viper are now cooked. He got some good bang for his buck, I suppose. You know, cleaning up a couple Mangudai for an army that was really screwed from the get-go. Viper grabbing some trebs, building more castles, has quite a few arbs, is going to continue making arbs on the front, is not going to build Mangudai, at least for now, building trebs. Grabbing relics and building trebs is the Viper. He's going to grab elite skirm. MBL will have ballistics and Smarthian tactics, I believe. Yeah, we're going to see a fight here. Viper is really bracing for impact. MBL's army will be in soon, and the Viper is just trying to do everything he can to prepare himself for it. MBL's got some numbers here, though, that are pretty daunting. Sending in quite a few knights with bloodlines and +2. Some of those are on, iffy levels of HP, but most of them are pretty beefy. They will be able to run into Viper's eco and do some damage. Let's see if they find a good spot to do so. Trebs on the front, though, for the Viper, trying to get this castle down, but those Trebs are just totally unguarded, and MBL's going to grab that one for free. Faux free, so big investment there from the Viper, basically torn down for nothing. Husbandry, forging, and light cav coming for MBL, preparing for the late game, preparing for the Imperial Age spam, the trash spam, I suppose. MBL with quite a few Mangudai here, and he's looking like he's in really good shape. Viper's trying to raid with those arbs and do some damage, but if MBL can somehow clean that army up, I think it's GG. I think it could be GG in the long run anyway. MBL's really taken over the map, built a lot of castles on the important resources that are on the map, and he is going to be in very good shape. If he can take over this last one, I think, which he probably can pretty easily, I think the Viper's just not going to have a chance. All of the gold is, it's either in the middle or on MBL's side. A couple of trebs here from the Viper, quite a few arbs as well, and villagers coming forward en masse. And what are they up to? Those vills are maybe going to drop that. They're going to drop a mining camp for the moment. Let's see. Viper's going to have a few trebs here. He's going to have quite a few arbs. He's going to be... MBL's using his knights as a meat shield for the moment. Seems to be potentially going to win this battle. Bringing in light cav, has plenty of Mangudai to get the job done, is taking down Viper's trebs. And there is the GG from the Viper in game number 3. Hopefully you guys got a chance to see all of those games. I'm calling it a night here on Twitch, but yeah, you can find the recordings on Twitch or on YouTube if you missed the first 2. But a very nice set of games between these players, and yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm Killer B.